Last quarterly crime statistics show steep increases in hijackings across South Africa. Almost 5,500 hijackings were reported over a 3-month period. That's an average of 61 every single day. We are seeing more and more victims also being taken hostage. Where are these hotspots, and are authorities actually doing enough about this?
Hello, Heidi. The problem of carjackings is still one of concern. If one looks at the overall crime statistics released by the police just a few weeks ago, it shows that Gauteng is top of the list, followed by the KwaZulu-Natal area and then the Western Cape. In fact, in the Gauteng area, there were just over 2,824 cases reported. In the KwaZulu-Natal area, there were 845, and in the Western Cape, there were 692. Now, there are many hotspots across South Africa, but in these three provinces, the policing areas with the problem include in the Western Cape, the Cape Town area, Harare, Inyanga, and Philippi East. In the KwaZulu-Natal area, Umlazi continues to be a major problem. There were hundreds and hundreds of hijacking cases reported over the past few months alone. In Gauteng, there are almost 24 police stations where hijackings continue to be a problem. These include areas such as Orange Farm, Tembisa, Alexandra Township, Mamelodi East, Sandringham in Johannesburg, Johannesburg Central, Boysens, Ivory Park, Pretoria West, Randfontein, Sekani on the East Rand, Vosloorus, Ettridgeville, and the Bramley area in Johannesburg. Now, a very worrying trend over the past few years has been, and it is still continuing, where victims are hijacked and they then take you hostage. I spoke to an expert, Richard Brassou, from the National Hijack Prevention Academy, to ask him, what does one do?
Most of these kidnappings/hijackings happen in home driveways, where either you leave your premises or you arrive home in the afternoons. Now, when people in South Africa hear the kidnapping statistics, everybody goes into a panic. You must keep in mind in South Africa, the definition of a kidnapping is taking a person's freedom away via violence. So if they hijack you and they take you with down the road because they might think the vehicle has got a tracking device installed, or they want to draw money out of the ATM, a case is open of kidnapping.
Over the past year or two, we are also seeing more and more truck hijackings taking place.
It is a significant problem, Yusuf, that we're seeing growing more and more with various iterations of it. So obviously, with the rail network not being what it was, there's more and more trucks on the road between our major highways and between major cities. So that's the one sort of scenario that we're seeing. We're also seeing a lot of opportunistic crime, where if a truck breaks down, there's then the looting of the truck, which becomes another modus operandi to then steal the goods from the truck. The third one is between Mpumalanga and Gauteng, and between Free State and Gauteng, we're seeing the normal patterns of the blue light brigades using different MOs to then target the trucks between these areas.
So over the 3-month period, we saw over 5,400 hijackings being reported across the country. It's an increase of about 13.
If something has to happen, would I have an escape route? Sit nicely in your car, look over your car's bonnet, try and be able to see the car in front of yours, rear tires touch the road. That'll give you enough space if something happens.
Very, very worrying picture there, Yusuf. Maybe speak to us about how there has also been scores of incidents where motorists are robbed after spikes are flung across roads and also rocks thrown at vehicles, forcing them to stop. Tell us how worrying this trend is.
There have been scores of incidents of rock throwing or boulders being thrown across the freeway, as well as a spiking of vehicles along many of our busy highways. In fact, on the N3 near Heidelberg, there was an incident just the other day. This victim described her frightening ordeal.
We suddenly heard a loud bang. I had thought we were hit by a truck. It sounded that loud. And my husband said to me instinctively, because I gave out a scream in such shock, what's happened? And he said to me instinctively, we're being sabotaged. They placed something on the road to puncture the tires. I'm going to keep going because if they're planning to come for us, we need to get as far away as possible. Out of nowhere, 3 armed men approached the vehicle. On the right side of the vehicle, 2 gunmen at my husband's window and 1 at my side. He managed to open the door, and then it all unfolded. They placed a gun on his chest and started demanding belongings. The second gunman opened my door, had the gun close to me, but he saw the baby on my lap, and I think that's what deterred him from coming any closer to me. But then he started, I actually forgot what I even had on me in that moment. My baby was asleep, so I grabbed her closer to me and grabbed my daughter with the other arm. The children, of course, started screaming frantically. We remained calm. And then he looked at me and he instructed me, take off your jewelry, take off your chain, take off, pass the cell phone to me. And so I started doing whatever he asked. And they frequently asked for cash. Where's the cash? Pass the cash, assuming that there was lots of cash in the vehicle.
We've also had reports of similar incidents in other parts of South Africa. We know a few months ago the N1 north of Pretoria was a hotspot, as well as the N4 towards Mpumalanga, just outside the capital city. We've had a report of similar attacks over the past few days on the N4 in Mpumalanga, within the Nkomazi area near Hectorspruit. This is in addition to the incidents that have been plaguing the immediate vicinity of the Libombo border post. In fact, a Mozambican-bound taxi was spiked just last week, and the attack occurred between Hectorspruit and Coopersdale. When the vehicle stopped, the occupants were robbed. The driver was subsequently found murdered with a bush knife about 150 meters away from his vehicle. I'm told that 2 passengers are still missing. A gang of approximately 20 people attacked this particular taxi. We know that a few weeks ago, a Mozambican undertaker was also stopped in the same area, and he was robbed of his personal possessions. I asked an expert what safety tips are on offer.
If it's possible to avoid it, let's do so. Now, it may mean crossing to the verge of the road, going on the opposite side. But please, no tire, no wheel, no matter how expensive the mag wheel is worth your life. The criminals who are doing this expect that you will come to a stop. So if we do the unexpected and drive on, even if it's for another kilometer or so, by which time your tire is shredded maybe, but you're at least away from the problem. You could have called for assistance. And we know that if it's in our local community, armed response may be there.
So let's take the advice. If your car is hit by a rock or a boulder or it's spiked, try not to stop. Drive on until you come to a safe place, even if it means damaging your tire and your rim.
Certainly, I think your life is more important, and you should definitely try and drive on for as long as possible. Speak to us about smash and grabs. They happen almost every single day. What modus operandi do these criminals use, and what safety tips can you offer?
Hundreds and hundreds of smash and grabs are reported annually. These criminals will take you by surprise. Remember, they are opportunistic criminals. So when you're at a traffic light or a stop street, whether you're in peak hour traffic or there's 3 or 4 cars in front of you, they'll simply come, take a spark plug, smash it through your driver's window or your passenger window, and then make off with either your cell phone, your handbag, your laptop, or whatever valuables are in sight. They will then run down an embankment. Sometimes they wait, there's an awaiting car waiting for them, and then they escape. Very often these criminals also pose as beggars, asking for cash or food, and that is when they take you by surprise. Now, in the Cape Town area, Mayoral Committee member J.P. Smith released this video shortly after a suspect was convicted for a smash and grab some years ago.
In a horror scene captured by one of our CCTV cameras on Jakes Gerwel Drive, the operator witnessed a smash and grab in progress and immediately alerted Metro Police and SAPS. In the following seconds, however, the female driver was caught unaware and had to live through the same nightmare that has befallen many a motorist in recent years. Since the court and prosecution has now been completed, we are now able to release this footage to hopefully draw attention to a serious issue. The operator was able to follow one of the perpetrators who was knocked by a passing car as he tried to make his escape. While his accomplices carried him to safety, our cameras were able to keep track of him and able to guide Metro Police and SAPS to his exact hideout. The value of our continuous investment into technology is in line with our investment into the human resource element.
So the safety tip for the week is make sure that you are always alert. Keep your valuables out of sight. Rather lock it in your boot or conceal it somewhere that these criminals cannot see it. Also, do not talk on your mobile phone while in the vehicle, because the minute they see you talk on a mobile phone, it's a good opportunity for them to grab it and simply run away with it. Always remain alert.
Him.